Nobody likes seeing disrespectful tourists bother the royal guard, who are just trying to do their job. The Buckingham Palace guards aren't there to entertain visitors. In fact, they're an elite group from the British Army, trained specially to protect the royal family. They're not even allowed bathroom breaks or sitting down while on duty. And to top it all off, they make around £30,500 a year, which is definitely not enough to put up with curious tourists who push them to the limit. Let's just say these impolite visitors often get a taste of their own medicine. From sudden bites to loud shouts, these tourists definitely learned a thing or two about boundaries. Before we get started, if you're a fan of royal guards, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's dive in. This lady approaches a royal guard, and his horse shows it's being bothered, but she wouldn't understand until it gently grabbed her shoulder, making it clear she'd crossed a line. A couple cozied up next to a guard for a photo, only for him to shout at them to keep their distance, but they went ahead with their snapshot anyway. As the guards marched, a child strayed into their path. With a loud shout, they continued on their way, nearly stepping on him in the process. Thinking the guard's horse was simply playful, this woman laughed at its gentle nibbling on her clothes, only to realize it was anything but friendly after a second, sharper bite. Everyone, including her, laughed at the awkward situation. This tourist was posing next to the royal guard, grabbing his horse's reins, which prompted him to let out a shout. And although it scared her a little, she attempted to grab the reins one more time, and he had to scream even louder to let her know that it wasn't an option. A persistent tourist got too close to the royal guard's horse, only to receive a bite that sent her off in a frightened yelp. This tourist thought she could get too close to this horse until it bit her hand. Two boys posed by the royal guard's horse, but the horse had other ideas, nibbling one boy's ear, sending him away in tears while the other chuckled. The royal guard's horse playfully nibbled a woman's clothing. No harm done, but here's a slow-motion look at the unexpected moment. This couple were posing next to the royal guard, who had to shout in order to let them know their places. This tourist was grabbed by the horse so bad, she barely managed to free her hand from its mouth. This young tourist was posing next to the horse until she received a bite that left her screaming loud. This tourist thought that the horse was playing until its bites became more aggressive. She still didn't learn her lesson. Another tourist was greeted with a sudden bite from the royal guard's horse. She was in utter surprise, while everyone laughed. While this royal guard was marching, as his job requires him to do, this child was standing in his way, so he yelled at him, making everyone around laugh.
Get off the fence!
This royal guard's horse kept nibbling on a tourist's fingers until it became too painful and the man started to scream in pain. Then, he still had the audacity to reproach the guard who was just doing his job.
Oh, he's got the reins.
Those tourists were posing next to the royal guard's horse, and she had to let them know that it was not allowed to touch his reins with a loud scream that scattered them away. While this tourist wanted to pet the royal guard's horse, it was in a very bad mood and tried to bite her several times. Luckily, she escaped right on time. This tourist thought it was cool to stand too close to the royal guard's horse and even challenged the guard when he shouted at him to stay away. So, the guard let him know his place with a louder shout that made him pout, while a police officer hurried to the scene.
Move back! Oh my God! Move back! It's our guard!
While the tourist was posing next to it, the royal guard's horse decided to keep her flip-flop. It stepped on it and refused to budge, despite all attempts to free the flip-flop.
And he's standing on a flip-flop.
Oh, I got that!
This tourist approached the royal guard's horse so fast, it had to bite her as a defense. She screamed in fear while barely escaping its grip. This royal guard was surrounded by tourists, and he had to shout out loud in order to make way. They barely let him pass while laughing annoyingly. While this tourist was not being careful, the royal guard's horse just decided to keep her coat for itself and grabbed it by the hoodie. Luckily, she got it back. It seems like this horse is fond of fashion, because it also attempted to snatch another tourist's coat while he was posing for a picture next to it.
Oh, Jesus! Rules from the goat! Oh my God! Fucking...
This poor child wanted to pat the horse, but instead was bit in the ear and ran screaming in pain. This tourist couldn't resist posing by the royal guard, not realizing the horse was in no mood for company. When it bit her shoulder, she was left with quite the surprise caught in HD. This playful horse couldn't resist trying to tug at a tourist's ponytail, as if saying only it deserved the best mane around. These two old ladies were already familiar with the horse's antics and were pretending to be scared, and it let them get away with it with a little warning. It seemed that this Royal Guard's horse is in a very bad mood today. Not only did it scare the guy on its right, but it also bit the arm of the girl on its left. This tourist is happily posing next to a horse. Little did she know, the horse wanted nobody around. This girl thought she could grab the Royal Guard's arm as if he was her friend, but he swiftly took his arm away, letting her know her place. This girl's hoodie was quickly snatched by the Royal Guard's horse, but she'll be fine. This tourist seems to be aware of the harm the horse can cause him, judging by his shivering. But how about just staying away? This woman stood in the Royal Guard's way, and he didn't hesitate in moving her away. It may seem violent, but she wasn't supposed to be there. This guy didn't take the Royal Guard's horse bite threat seriously, so he received the real deal a moment later. He seems fine though. This Royal Guard could barely hide his smirk after the tourists, who were posing for a picture next to his horse, were scattered when they heard his loud shout.
Reins.
In order to make his way through the crowd, this Royal Guard didn't hesitate in shouting and pushing the tourists away. This guy's reaction was the second surprise after the Royal Guard's horse's bite he received. Not only was he smiling, but he also moved fairly slow. Looks like it wasn't his first time in this situation. This Royal Guard's horse didn't resist the urge to bite a passing woman, as if to warn others not to approach him. This tourist was patting the Royal Guard's horse and having a good time while it was licking her hand, but it all ended with a quick bite. Luckily, she wasn't hurt. This lady was bit by the horse on her shoulder, but it seemed like she scared it with her scream, so it let her go. Another victim of the horse's bite is this lady, who luckily took precautions by keeping her fingers inside her sleeve, at least for a couple of seconds.
Oh yes, of course. Sorry folks, I just remember from last year. Lots and lots and lots of US marching bands. Oi! Oh! She just got her arm stuck in the horse's mouth.
This tourist was approaching the forbidden area, so the guard let her know by shouting so loud she jumped away.
Get off the ring!
This lady was touching the royal guard's leg while she was posing for a picture, and he pushed her hand away while giving her a strict look. Don't touch the guards.
Yeah, come in.
This tourist was fooling around the royal guard, so he had to let her know it's disrespectful with a loud shout. She ran away in no time.
Stand clear!
The royal guard, who was marching, let out a loud shout at the woman who was standing in his way. You can see in this slow motion that she was frightened, but it's her fault that she wasn't paying attention.
Make way! Make way!
Although this tourist received a complimentary bite from the royal guard's horse, she hasn't learned her lesson and kept posing for the picture anyway. Looks like the coat snatcher is back, and this time he was about to take a little boy's hooded jacket. Luckily, his father interfered just on time, with gentle pats that convinced the horse to let go. This guy was taking a selfie with a royal guard while on duty and stood in the way of the marching one, who shouted at him to make way.
Make way!
Before marching, this royal guard sent his colleague a shout at the crowd to let them know that they needed to make way. They both went through.
Make way for the Queen's Guard!
Despite being bitten for quite a while, this woman stayed courageous and patient until her companion came to liberate her. Even the royal guard seemed surprised by how persistent his horse was. That must have left a mark, on her jacket at least. One royal guard slipped while marching, but in true professional style, quickly got up, dusted himself off, and resumed his duty.
I know. The one dude almost slipped.
This impolite woman was adamant on taking a selfie with the royal guards right while they were marching. Even when they shouted at her to make way, she wouldn't budge until they pushed her away. What a pervasive behavior!
Make way for the crowd on the guard!
This courageous tourist attempted to enter the royal guard's shed, but the latter was quick to shoo him away.
No.
This royal guard had to shout out loud at the laughing crowd in order to be able to march and do his job.
Make way!
This royal guard's horse was feeling frisky, and this woman posing next to it just ignored the red flags until she received a well-expected bite. While posing for a picture next to the royal guard, this tourist attempted to touch his horse's reins. The guard, after asking her politely to stop touching them, had to shout out loud to drive her away. While standing next to the royal guard on his horse, this guy received a prolonged bite from the latter. This couple took their sweet time posing with the royal guard, who had a job to do and had to make brisk moves to let them know he had to go. This little girl was scared away by the loud shout that the guard made before moving his horse.
Don't touch the reins!
What a waste of a lovely coat. This tourist, who was posing next to the royal guard's horse, received a strong bite that tore the sleeve.
Just quickly do it.
This annoying kid thought it was funny to taunt the royal guard, but he was scared away after the guard's patience ran out and he had to shout and stomp at them.
Stop back!
Looks like this royal guard is playing favorites by pushing the man away while letting his wife stay close to him during the picture taking. This clueless tourist wouldn't listen to her companions when they told her to stay away from the guard's way. So, she was pushed by one of them, and it seems like she angered him a lot, judging by his body language.
Get out of the way. Move. Move. Oh, it's like the changing of the guard. We did. I was like, move.
Now that's a smart tourist. Once the horse warned her with its head, she stayed away just enough to take a picture without getting hurt. You'd think that the horse would bite the girl who was moving on its left, but it suddenly turned and bit the woman on its right. People were staring at the royal guard during his duty as if they've never seen someone doing his job. This woman kept getting closer to the guard while he was doing his job. One must applaud his patience. This royal guard had to shout out loud at the crowd in order to be able to march straight.
The king's on guard!
This woman let out a loud, frightened scream when the horse surprised her with its movement, but she kept posing for the picture nevertheless. This man was leaning too close to the royal guard's horse, so the guard had to let him know that he needed to stay away for his safety with a loud shout.
Change your battery pack over there.
Get back!
This royal guard had to repeatedly ask people to make way. How hard is it for you to just move a bit?
Make way! Make way!
This man received a loud shout from the female royal guard after he attempted to touch her horse's reins. Read the sign, folks! Here's another one who attempted to touch the horse's reins only to be shouted at by the royal guard. In this funny shot, you can see a royal guard was marching when he suddenly slipped and fell on the ground. This boy pulled on the royal guard's horse's reins, and naturally, the guard had to stop him with a loud shout. Some people can only understand that way. This woman thought that the horse was her friend and stood too close to it, but it almost tore her shirt and nearly bit her hand. This pervasive tourist was trying to film the royal guard while he was marching and received a loud shout to make way.
No chessmen, no gatesmen.
Make way!
Oh, bro, you just got...
Here's a classic mix-up. This tourist thought the horse was kissing her hand, but it was really sizing up its next snack. It seems like this tourist was kicked in the back by either the royal guard or his horse. Either way, she shouldn't have gotten too close. This time, a police officer had to shout at an impolite tourist after he kept pestering a royal guard and repeatedly trying to touch his horse. This tourist was sneakily touching the horse's reins, so the royal guard, once he saw that, had to shout at him.
Get off the ride!
Another tourist, same scenario. Why won't people understand that it's not allowed to touch the royal guard's horse's reins?
Get off the ride!
This lady received a swift bite on the shoulder while being too close to the royal guard's horse that made her scream in pain. This girl almost received an amateur haircut as the horse attempted to bite her before she escaped. This royal guard had to shout at this lady to get back because she kept touching his horse's back. While doing the salute, this royal guard slipped his sword but continued as if nothing happened. What a grip! Pun intended. This impolite tourist kept bothering the royal guard during his duty. Not only did this man come too close, he started arguing with the guard, making him shout not only once, but twice.
gone down the road, yeah.
Stand clear! Stand clear, keep stand clear!
This girl received an unexpected bite from the Royal Guard's horse. Looks like it hurt a bit. This lady thought that the horse was trying to star in her selfie and was thrilled by it, only to be almost bitten. This horse seems to be in biting mode. It tried to bite the lady on its left first, but she was saved by her coat, so it tried to bite the other girl on its right, only to fail again. Then, it turned to the First Lady again. This girl was posing with the horse, letting it approach her too closely. In the end, the result was a painful bite. What else are you willing to do for a picture? Another tourist who thinks she's the horse whisperer. Here, she is trying to play with the horse until it got her fingers.
Oh, he's got her fingers. He has got her fingers.
As if not alarmed by the horse's attempts to bite him, this tourist stayed too close until the Royal Guard had to push him away. These Royal Guards were marching when this annoying kid kept running around, so one of them shouted at him to make way and stop acting so foolishly.
Back way! The Winter Castle Guards!
This tourist arm got bitten by the Royal Guard's horse while posing for a selfie. That would make a funny meme if it was caught on camera. It's even funnier when slowed down.
Look! Look!
This girl had her coat almost snatched off her back by the Royal Guard's horse, who wanted to bite her initially.
Don't get too close! I think the horse dead.
This Royal Guard had to shout loud just to be able to continue his march properly. Amidst all the tourists, one particularly bold individual made rude gestures and danced in front of the Royal Guards. Safe to say, he got more than a few loud shouts his way. And there you have it. When tourists get too close to the Royal Guards and their noble steeds, things can get a little wild. So if you ever find yourself up close to the Royal Guard, remember to stay respectful and keep a safe distance. After all, they're here to protect, not to play. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more entertaining stories and insights.